dear students. Today I am going to start the new chapter, class 10th biology, that is how do organisms reproduce. So, why this concept of reproduction is important? Why the organisms reproduce? So why do you consider this is important process in the organisms, like a life processes such as nutrition, then respiration, excretion, then all these things. So why do you consider this is one of the important process in the organism's life? The reproduction process is important in order to reproduce the similar species. And what happens if one organism stop reproducing? The thing is, that species will no more exist. If they stop reproducing, the species will no more exist. That is why reproduction is important. In order to continue the existence of one organisms, the concept of reproduction is important. So in today's class, let us learn about the types of reproduction and why it is important. So what do you mean by reproduction? The creating the new one, producing the new one which is having the similar characteristics of their parent. The reproduction process takes place between the same species. There are certain criteria. There are some exception. Only similar species can reproduce of their own. Like the dogs will give birth to the puppies, the cat will give birth to the kittens, and the human beings give birth to reproduce the babies, like that. So reproduction is a process of creating the new one which is having the similar characteristics of their of the same species, of the same organisms. The next question is, do organisms create exact copies of themselves? One question, do you look like similar as your parents? Yes, almost we can observe some similarities between you and your parents, among your siblings. You can see the similarities. So do the organisms create exact copy of themselves? Yes, almost there is some similarities, but it is not exactly same. There are some variation. Some variation is added to the evolution of the organisms. We are not exactly the human beings in the earlier. We are belongs to one category of animal kingdom. Animal category, like that. Through the evolution, we can observe the variation. We can observe the variation in organisms. So what happens if an engineer want to construct a design? If the engineer wants to construct one building, what he have to prepare? Do you know? He has to prepare one blueprint, right? Like that. In order to design one organisms, the parent has to prepare one blueprint for that. So that blueprint is takes place in the cellular level. The preparation of the blueprint takes place in the cellular level. We have studied about the cell. In the cell, what is present? In the cell there is nucleus. At the center, nucleus is present, and inside the nucleus there are chromosome, right? These chromosomes are the thread-like structure, and these chromosomes contains information about the inheritance. So what happens during the reproduction? There is cell division takes place, and this chromosomes contains the information about the existence or inheritance of the new organisms. So what do you mean by DNA? DNA is nothing but deoxyribonucleic acid. So these are the proteins, okay? These are the proteins which have the properties, which have the characteristics of the newborn organisms. So it shows the characteristics of the inheritance, okay? It contains the genes, it have the characteristics of particular species of one kind of organisms. So what happens during the reproduction? There is cell division takes place during the reproduction. There are two types of cell division takes place. One is mitosis, another one is meiosis. In case of mitosis takes place in all other parts of the body, okay? The cell division takes place by the process of mitosis in other parts of the body. It is just if there is one, okay, if there is one cell, it will divide into two. Okay, in the mitosis process, what happens? If there is single cell, it will be divided into two. Then this two will be divided into two more two. Then this gets so it gets doubled. Okay, doubling. So it gets doubled. 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, like that. It gets doubled. Okay, in the process during the reproduction, what happens? The cell is divided due to meiosis process. In the meiosis process, what happens? It gets half. Okay, the number of chromosomes. Okay, the total number of chromosomes in the nucleus is 46, and that gets converted into 23. The 46 will be converted into 23. So meiosis, what happens? The number of during the cell division, the number of chromosomes will be reduced to half. And then this is the reaction. Okay, there is some chemical reaction takes place. Okay, some biochemical reaction takes place during the cell division. Okay, it will make the new copy of it. Okay, the DNA will have the okay, the new formed cell will have the structure, the characteristics of the parent one. Okay, which have the similar characteristics of the parent one. And okay, if the protein in the DNA is varied, okay, the newborn organisms will have the different characteristics. So if the structure varies, if the DNA structure varies because of some okay, diseases, the exact DNA structure will be replaced. It will become completely different. Okay, the existence of the new organisms will show the different property, different characteristics. So it always keeps that similarities. Okay, yeah, maintains that similar characteristics in the structure. Okay, when there is a cell division, when there is a creation of the new DNA structure, it will okay, it will give the exact, it will shows the similar characteristics of the okay, previous DNA structure. So it always maintains that characteristics, inheritance. It it shows the similar the new organisms shows the similar characteristics of the parent one. So if it gets reversed, if there is any damage, in the DNA, it will affect the newborn organisms. And it is a biochemical reactions takes place. Okay, there is some chemical reaction takes place because it is a chemical. This deoxyribonucleic acid proteins, these are the chemical, and it is a biochemical reaction. So there is some variation. Okay, there is some variation because of the inheritance, because of the environmental, and because of the okay evolution. Because of the evolution, we can see some variation in the structure, variation in the organisms. Got it? But almost we look similar to our parents. Okay, we adopt most of the characteristics of a parent. Half of the characteristics we adopt from the parent, half from the father, half from the mother. Okay, not only not only from parents, from our grandparents, from our ancestors. Okay, the characteristics, the DNA structure, okay, that properties will be there only. It remains the same, it remains in the DNA. Okay, because the cell gets divided. Okay, we may have the properties, the characteristics of our ancestors also. Okay, not only from the parents, also from our grandparents and great grandparents, like that. So that is the reason why your eye color, your hair, okay, the structure of the hair, okay, some are tall, some are short, some are little fat. Okay, that is the reason. Because okay, your parents are the blueprint of you, that is why. Okay, that is the reason. You're the copy of your parents, that is the reason. Got it? Okay, why this variation is important? Okay, some changes, variation means some changes in the structure. Why it is important? Okay, we okay, during the reproduction, okay, the DNA maintains the consistency in the structure. Okay, it maintains the consistency while copying the structure. Okay, during the reproduction, so it can fit to that area, that environment. Okay, to that surroundings. Okay, that consistency is it will maintain. But sometimes it is required, that variation. Why? Because our okay, we live in particular place. All the organisms live in its particular place, and it will adapt to itself. Okay, it adapt itself to that environment. Okay, the camel cannot come and live in this area, or the penguin cannot come and live in this area, because its body structure, it is not suitable to live. Its structure is not suitable to live. It don't have that its body structure is not capable to suit in this environment, that it cannot survive in this environment. But sometimes this variation is important. If our life, the organism's life affected by the environmental conditions, we know that for the existence of one organisms, the environmental condition, environmental factors also affects. Which are the temperature, the water level, then the air moisture, all these things, right? We can't live under the water, because our body is not suitable to live under the water. And the fishes, okay, the fishes cannot live on the land. The camel cannot live in the normal our environment. The reason is their body is not suitable, and their body structure is not suitable. The body structure the body is not designed to suit into this environment. That is the reason. But sometimes what happens, consider suddenly, drastically, consider in a pond, in the river. Okay, some bacteria are growing, some bacteria are surviving in the water. Consider suddenly, because of the global warming, suddenly the temperature of the water increases, and what happens, it will affect the life of that organisms, life of that bacteria. So what happens, there might be chances it could die. So what happens, if it dies, what happens, the existence of that type of organisms, that species, that bacteria will no more exist. They will die. Okay, we cannot see that type of organisms after that. So what happens, this sometimes during the reproduction, okay, the copy of the newborn organisms may vary, okay. During the evolution, there is some addition of variation takes place, okay. The body creates the organisms creates some variation in the newborn organisms, okay. The DNA may vary. So there is some addition in the variation during the evolution. Evolution is nothing but development, okay. The changes in the structure, the changes in the species of one organisms, okay. The variation in the structure, design of the organisms takes place. So it is important, the variation is important during the evolution. Yeah, you can take the best example, okay. The living condition what we are facing now is not similar what our ancient parents are facing, okay. The environment, okay, you can look around your surroundings, okay. The environmental condition, the technology, everything was changed, okay. What in the earlier, what our parents, our grandparents used, that technology, that situation we are not facing. Our situation, we are living in a different world, okay. As the generation passes, there is some changes we can see. There is the changes is taking place, okay, over the year, right. So that variation, the variation in the variation during the reproduction is important. Got it? Okay, we know that we can classify the organisms into two types. Which are they? One is unicellular organisms, another one is multicellular organisms. So first, now let us discuss about the modes of reproduction in single organisms, means unicellular organisms, how the reproduction process takes place. So mainly there are two types. One is fission and another one is cell division. So there are mainly two types. One is fission. Through the fission process, reproduction takes place. Another one is simple cell division, okay. Cell division means it is just breakage of it is just division of splitting of cell into two parts. And fission, in fission there are variety, okay. We can observe many types in fission process. Let us discuss one by one. Okay, in fission, okay, there is two types. One is binary fission, another one is multiple fission. So in binary fission, what happens? The cell division takes place like this, okay. Consider there is one amoeba and it get contract, the structure get contracts, and it will have the wipe like structure, and it will be dragged and it will split into two parts like this, okay. Like this way the binary fission takes place, okay. It is a little slow process and it involves a few steps in it. And in case of in case of multiple fission, what happens at a time, okay, the cell will be split into, okay, at a multiple fission the cell will be split into multiple daughter cells. So in the binary cells, once it will be split into two new cells, two daughter cells, and it takes few steps. But in case of multiple fission, what happens? At a time it will reproduce the multiple cells, okay. At a time it will be split into more number of daughter cells. So this is the difference, binary fission and multiple fission. And this new species, okay, the new produced daughter cells will have the similar structure of the parent cell. In yeast, we can observe the multiple fission process. So now let us conduct an activity to understand how the multiple fission takes place in yeast.
I needed a photo of some yeast cells, preferably yeast cells reproducing. So I got some bread maker's yeast from the supermarket and mixed it with water and sugar in a beaker and set the whole thing up on the hot plate just at about 90 degrees F. And after a few minutes, it was all frothy, producing carbon dioxide, as yeast cells are likely to do. And so I poured the mixture into a couple test tubes and put them in the centrifuge and ran it for just a minute, just to concentrate the cells at the bottom of the test tube. And then I scraped the cells out of the test tube and put them on a slide with a cover slip and put them under the microscope. So I'm not sure of the exact magnification. It would probably be better just to look up the size of bread makers' yeast cells on the internet and use that as a reference rather than try to figure out the magnification. The objective is 40x, but you have to take into account the distance between the objective and the camera, since I'm not using an eyepiece to show this video. So I'm not really sure if the yeast cells are actually reproducing in this video. You can see the cells moving around, but I think this effect is actually just caused by the bubbles, the air and the water moving under the cover slip. Anyway, I thought it was pretty neat. Okay, see you next time. Bye.
Okay, now I will discuss about the modes of reproduction in multicellular organisms. Okay, here I am going to discuss about the asexual reproduction. Okay, there are 5 types in the asexual reproduction of the multicellular organisms. One is fragmentation, second one is regeneration, third one is budding, fourth one is vegetative reproduction, fifth one is spore formation. Okay, these are the types. So let us discuss one by one. Okay, fragmentation, regeneration, budding, vegetative reproduction and spore formation. The first one is fragmentation. What do you mean by fragmentation? Okay, consider one consider one organism is there. Okay, through the different parts, the part will get separated, and through each part the new organism will arise. Okay, they only reproduce, they by themselves they will while reproducing, they will split into different parts. The body parts will be divided into different parts, and through each parts the new organism will arise, and it will grow. It will grow and it will become the new independent organism. Okay, from different parts of this organism, from different part of this multicellular organisms, they get separated by themselves and they become independent new organism. It will become the independent structure. So this is how the reproduction takes place, and it is at a time. Okay, it does not take much time. It gets the new bud and it will split into the new organisms. Okay, it does not take much time. Okay, the development of the new organisms does not take much time. Similarly, when the new buds grows, it starts separating and it will grow into independent new cell. So this is what fragmentation. We can observe fragmentation in Spirogyra. And this fragmentation process is not easy. Okay, in the multicellular organisms, this fragmentation process is not suitable. Why? Because these multicellular organisms, okay, they have multiple number of cells, and these number of cells have, they will combine to form, they have the cells and they will combine to form the tissues, and these tissues will combine to form organs, and organs have the organ system that we have studied in the previous class, right? Cells, they have the multi number of cells, tissues, and they will combine to form the organs, and they have the organ system. So the different organs perform different functions in the body. See, if you take the example of human beings, okay, see that we have different parts of the body. So hands are suitable. Okay, we use the hands for writing, for eating, for holding the things, and we use the legs. Okay, the function of the leg is different. We use the legs for walking, for running, like that. Okay, different parts, different organs perform different functions. Okay, the digestive system function is different, the respiratory function is different, like that. So this fragmentation process is not suitable, because if the different part grows the new one, okay, it is sometimes it may not be possible to perform all the tasks. So it may not show the properties, it may not show the characteristics of the remaining parts of the body. So this fragmentation process is not suitable for the multicellular organisms. So they prefer, most of the species prefer some other methods. Okay, the next way is regeneration. What do you mean by regeneration? Have you seen, okay, if this lizards, okay, if they lose its tail, if you cut the tail of the lizard, after few days the new tail will be grown. So that is nothing but regeneration. In regeneration, what happens? If one part of the body, if one part, one tissue, or if one tissue or one organ or one cell is cut, one cell is broken, what happens? It will grow into new cell. Okay, it gets the new cell, new part of that. So if you take the example of regeneration in planaria, what happens? If you cut the parts, if you cut into 3 parts, okay, what happens? It will get the new part. Okay, this part, if you cut and make it as a separate part, it gets the new part, it develops the new part. And if you separate this part, it gets the new head and tail. If you separate the tail part, it gets the new head, and it grows into after that, after few days, it will recover and it will become the new organisms. Got it? So it gets the lost parts. So here what happens? The part which is lost, that it gets, okay, it takes a little time. The new part will be developed through this process. It takes a time for developing the new part. So this is different from fragmentation. In fragmentation, what happens? Through the different parts of the body, the buds will grow and it will develop and it will become the new independent species. But in case of this, here, which part is lost, that part only it will gets. So in case of the lizards, these things happen. If it loses its tail, after few days, it takes little time. After few days, it grows, it develops the new tail. It gets only the tail, the part which is lost. That is the regeneration. Regeneration is not the reproduction. Reproduction is not this. Here reproduction does not takes place, does not occur. Reproduction does not occur in regeneration. Only the lost part it gets back. The next thing is budding.
Hydra. Hydra is one of the simplest sedentary multicellular freshwater organism, about 1 centimeter long. It has a tubular body with a basal disc for attachment and a free distal or oral end bearing mouth and circlet of tentacles. Hydra reproduces asexually by budding. At the time of asexual reproduction, small buds appear on the body wall. As the bud elongates, a mouth opens at its free anterior end, followed by the development of tentacles at the base of the oral region. The newly developed hydra detaches from the parent body and fixes on a substratum.
Okay, the reproduction in plants, okay, by the asexual method is also known as vegetative propagation. What do you mean by vegetative propagation? It is a reproduction in plants we call it as reproduction in plants, we call it as vegetative propagation. So here also, okay, in how other multicellular organisms, how these budding, then regeneration, all these process takes place. Okay, from different parts of the plant, the new part will be produced. Okay, we can plant. You can get the new plant from the roots, from the stem, from the leaf, like that, from the buds, like that. So, and in how in other organisms there are modes of reproduction, like that in the plants also we can see two different modes of reproduction. One is grafting, another one is layering. So what do you mean by grafting? Grafting is nothing but, okay, think that there is one apple tree. Okay, there is one apple tree which gives more apple. Okay, and there is one and there is another apple tree which gives okay, there is another apple tree which produces okay, sweet apples. So consider there are two apple trees. One produces more apple and another produces sweet apple. And you want one apple tree which produces more sweet apples. So what you will do? You will cut the part of this part. Okay, this plant. Okay, you will cut the stem of this plant and you will attach to the you will attach the part of this with this. So you will grow the new plant, so, which shows the property of this the apple tree which produces more apples, and apple which is very sweet. So the new produced, okay, by fusing these two parts of the plant, you will get the new apple tree which having the characteristics of this and this. So that method is nothing but grafting. Here what you will do, you will combine, you will fuse, you will take the you will take the part of one plant and you will attach it to the another part. And there are some scientific methods. Okay, you have to follow certain scientific methods for grafting. Simply you just can't tie the tape and you can't grow. Okay, you have to follow, you have to see that the atmospheric conditions are friendly to this. Okay, then you have to follow scientific methods for grafting process. The next one is layering. In layering, what happens? Okay, there is one plant grows. And what you will do, you this branch will grow, and it will come down to the soil, and it will by getting the moisture, everything, environmental condition, it will grows into new plant. So this is what layering. In the layering process, what happens? From the one branch of the plant will come down to the soil, and under the soil it grows into new plant. So from the branch of one plant, another plant grows. This is layering process. So through the stems, okay, through the roots, through the flowers, through the fruit, through the seeds, and then through the stem, through the leaves, through the buds, the new plant can be grown. So we can see variety in vegetative propagation also. In bryophyllum plant, it have the buds on the leaf. Okay, through the buds on the leaf, the new plant grows. Okay, the next way is spore formation. Okay, if you see in the activity, the bread molds have the hypha. Okay, this is nothing but spore formation in rhizophores. Okay, what happens? The molds on the bread, okay, they have the hypha. They have the structure like this, and at the on the tip there is okay, blob like structure. That is nothing but sporangia. Okay, this sporangia contains the cells. Okay, in the sporangia it contains the cells which we also known as spores. Okay, it contains the spores. So this is the hypha. So at the on the tip of this hypha there is sporangia. Okay, this the blob-like structure is nothing but sporangia, and this contains spores. So this spores is like the powder-like structure. Okay, when it falls, it grows into new rhizophores. Okay, when this is not the reproductive part, but through this the reproduction takes place. Okay, how it when it falls down, okay, through the on the bread mold. Okay, when there is a moisture condition, okay, on the bread mold, what happens, when these spores fall down, it grows into new rhizophores. Okay, it grows into new rhizophores. This is how the spore formation takes place. Okay, till now we have discussed the different modes of reproduction. Okay, till now we have discussed about the different methods of different modes of reproduction. Here what you have observed, here we can see only single parent is involved in the reproduction. So this type of reproduction is known as asexual reproduction. In the asexual reproduction, single parent is involved in the reproduction. Got it?
Asexual reproduction. By the end of this topic, you will be able to describe different types of asexual reproduction, describe vegetative propagation and its types, describe different methods of artificial propagation. Asexual reproduction is a form of reproduction that involves the production of a new organism by a single parent. Fission refers to the division of parent cells into two parts. This is the simplest type of reproduction and is seen in single-celled organisms such as amoeba and paramecium. In amoeba, the nucleus first divides into two equal parts. This is followed by the division of the cytoplasm. Thus, the two daughter amoeba formed grows and attain full size and then split again. In some organisms, such as Spirogyra and flatworm, the organism breaks up into two or more fragments after maturation. These fragments grow into new individuals. In budding, one or more new organisms grow in the form of a bulb-like projection called bud. It grows and then may eventually break away from the parent. If you view a solution of warm water, sugar and yeast powder under the microscope, you will observe in yeast that a little cytoplasm accumulates at one end of the cell and the bud is formed. The nucleus divides into two and one of them enters the bud. In yeast, the buds form rapidly and create a chain of yeast cells if there is enough supply of nutrition. In Hydra, bud appears on the body wall, which grows into a full Hydra in a day or two and separates from the parent. A spore is a tiny, spherical unicellular body covered with a thick wall. It grows into a new plant when conditions are favorable. Bread mold, that can often be seen growing on moist, stale bread, grows when spores settle on the bread. In the regeneration mode of reproduction, an entire new organism can grow from some pieces or cells of the parent organism. A flatworm can be cut into many pieces, and each piece will grow into a complete new flatworm. Vegetative reproduction refers to the production of new plants from parts of the mother plant, such as roots, stems, or leaves, without help of any reproductive organ. Potato. There are several buds present on the surface of a potato called eye. A piece of potato with at least one eye on its surface is planted in the soil to develop a new plant. Ginger. In ginger, new plants are produced by some parts of underground stems. Onion. In onion, new plants are produced from the bulb, which is an underground stem with thick leaves. Strawberry. In plants like strawberry, the shoots with the buds bend towards moist land and grows into a new plant. Bryophyllum. The plant of Bryophyllum reproduces with the help of its leaves. A Bryophyllum leaf contains various buds on its margin. When these buds fall on moist soil, they give rise to new plants. Several artificial methods are developed for vegetative reproduction, which are commonly used to grow many plants from one plant. This is referred to as artificial propagation. Some of these methods include grafting, cutting, layering, and tissue culture. In grafting, a twig of one plant called scion is kept over the cut stem of another plant called the stalk. Then they are tied up together. The tissue of the scion and stalk combine to form a new plant. This method helps in developing a high-yielding and disease-resistant species of plants. In cutting, a healthy young branch or stem of the plant having buds is cut off and planted in moist soil. The cutting develops roots and grows into a new plant. In layering, a young healthy branch is bent down towards the ground and covered with moist soil. After some time, roots develop from the covered part. This is called a layer. This branch can now be cut to form a new plant. In tissue culture, a piece of tissue is cut off from the growing tip of plants and kept in the nutrient medium under controlled conditions. The hormones present in the nutrient medium helps in the cell division. It leads to development of roots and shoots. These plantlets are then grown in the moist soil. Vegetative reproduction is very useful as it allows developing new plants very quickly, exact copies of the parent plant are produced, plants propagated with this method need less attention in their early stages of growth, and new variety of plants can be developed.
So, in today's class, we have discussed about the asexual reproduction in singular organisms and in multicellular organisms. What are the types and how they reproduce? So, in the next class, let us learn about the sexual reproduction. Thank you, students.